Welcome everybody. Let's take a look at the market daily chart. Dow Jones industrial needs to be Dow Jones Transportation. Let's look at that. Put the T in there. Dow Jones Transportation. There we go. We'll go through all the products here like we always do. Let's see what's happening in the market. Let me get rid of the universe indicator. Not really important for what we're doing here. Okay. September 11th, a day of infamy. September 11th, 9/11. Tomorrow's the cycle low. You can see, what do you know? Look at that. Big long tail. Right on time, folks. It's amazing how cycles work. Dow Jones Transportation, big old pullback, and then basically finished where it opened. So a long-legged doji going on here. Okay, is that the bottom? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll give it a few more days here to see if this is bottoming out and do one of these deals, right? Kind of looks like that's where it's headed. But let's let it finish its thing here in this cycle. Amazing cycles, yeah? Let's look at the Russell 2000. Looks very similar. Very similar. Not quite the same, but not a long-legged doji, but long-legged. And finished up a little bit for the day. Range about 46.67. So a decent update for the Russell 2000. Don't think it's finished going down here yet. Could be. Could be. Looks like it's following the Dow Jones Transportation pretty closely, actually. All right, so there could be another cycle in here, a shorter range cycle than this big one. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ. Switch over to the daily here. Big update. Huge update. 734.81. Most of it up. Yeah, finished up huge. So looks like this is starting to get some legs underneath. They're going to take off here. We got negative momentum here on the daily chart. So it's got to overcome that. Could get up here, fail, start pulling back. Okay, if this momentum doesn't get if it doesn't get enough steam going, as they say, enough gas, then this bounce may be short-lived. We'll see. Word is on the street that the Federal Reserve may not do the rate cut. That is the word on the street. They may not do the rate cut. Surprise. All right. Of course, whatever. Never know what these clowns are going to do next. Okay, so that's that. Looks like to me, for the moment, yes, it's bullish, has a little bit of a bullish tendency, but momentum is negative, and it may be short-lived. See how far it runs. We'll come back to the S&P 500. Let's look at the Nikkei 225 Japanese market. Yeah, it was a green day, but basically got sideways going on here. It's kind of going sideways. So negative momentum affecting this market for sure. That's why it's not getting a bunch of steam, a bunch of gas underneath it. It hasn't done this because negative momentum is affecting its ability to go up. Now, it may still bounce eventually, but I suspect it probably won't get up here. So let's say it gets to 38,000, then begins to fail maybe, something like this. Keep an eye on it. Negative momentum. Let's take a look at the Japanese yen. This morning had technical difficulty, couldn't do the live stream. We'll do it Friday morning, no big deal. Happens sometimes. Japanese yen, look at that, had a big old update. That is a doji, and it kind of looks like an evening star almost. So it could be, that's, we see this kind of candlestick, a lot of times the market will pull back. Okay, so from now to September 25th, could it pull back? Yeah, very possible. This kind of candlestick often is the type of candlestick that says, okay, take notice, the market's going to start pulling back. So we'll keep an eye on this. It's very bullish here on the momentum, but it could begin to do that. Small divergence beginning to show up here. So we'll wait to see what happens here. But as of right now, at this moment, it's still bullish. But we might start seeing a pullback going on here as we get into the third week of September or head towards that week. Okay, but I think once we get out of this cycle low, the Japanese yen is probably going to be very strong. Okay, let's take a look at the euro dollar. Another bearish day for the euro dollar. Down here, failed hard. Looks like it's going to the basement. I think it's going to continue to fail here for a little bit longer. Might get a little bounce here. Eventually, might do a little bouncy bounce, but then fail again. Yeah, the euro is nothing like the yen here. It's really starting to look like it's getting beat up. Which maybe today we'll look at the US dollar. I haven't looked at it in a while. Usually I don't have to. Just look at the euro, and that tells me everything I need to know. Let's look at the British pound. Also getting beat up, heading down. Stronger than some of the other currencies. Stronger than the euro. Still very bullish here. Crossed over though. Got a crossover there. I think the same thing. If it gets down here into this cycle low, wherever it happens, somewhere it hits a cycle low. If it's still above the zero line on the MACD here, that's going to be a bullish thing, and it's going to take off coming out of this cycle over here. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking for in a swing trade, to go long on the British pound if I was going to trade it. I think there's a micro here too, guys. If you want to trade the micro, there it is, the N6B. Most of these currencies have micros, so if you want to get interested in trading those, you can with very little commitment. Let's take a look at the dollar. Can't really trade the dollar directly necessarily, but it's okay to look at it here. Yep, farting around down here. I mean, look at this. It's, the other products are declining, right? The euro dollar is declining. The British pound's declining. And usually whatever the euro does, the dollar will do the opposite. But look at this thing. It's just down here in a box, It's not really very strong. It's still super bearish down here. The dollar's just struggling big time. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. This could be bottoming, come up, $103, maybe something like this. Whatever it does, I think it's going to collapse. This thing is just, it's just so beat up. Boom, bang, bing, bong. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think the US dollar over the next 10 years could get below $70, maybe even down to $50. I think the US dollar is in for a huge, massive devaluing. And so the US economy is going to take a massive crash-o, bang-o, boom-o with that $35 trillion national debt. I just don't think there's any way to get around it. All right. I think that takes care of all the currencies that I wanted to look at. There's a few others in there, the Canadian dollar, the Aussie dollar, but I don't look at those too often. Let's take a look at gold. Big, huge product, one of the most traded products in the world, right? Gold. No, we don't want the volume. We want the daily chart. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This morning I watched a big old pullback in gold. It's like it didn't even happen. Look at this thing. Up here in the box. Just trading this way. Okay. Looks like it wants to go bullish again. This is still bullish here, even though momentum looks like it's trying to do that. Man, gold is just so resilient right now. I said it before, if momentum is above the zero line after we get into this, finish off this cycle low in the third week of September, I'd go long on gold. And don't forget gold, you can also trade a micro, which would be MGC. Okay, looks bullish to me, and I think it's probably a really good swing trade coming out of the third week of September, going into the first week of October, something like that. If this is still above the zero line, I say go long. All right. Let's take a look at crude oil. Had a member ask me about crude oil today. Of course, I cover all these products every day. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I cover them in the morning as well for hourly and 2-hour charts. Crude oil. Yeah, I had an update today, a green day, but man, it's still just, it's really having a hard time getting going here. Trying to bottom. Momentum is just so devastated here. Look at this momentum. Every time I try to rebound, crush. It's just getting crushed. And you can see this is the cycle, obviously, right here. The latest cycle is this cycle right here. It came down to the cycle low. It tried to get going. It got crushed. Left-hand translation, bam, bing, boom. I mean, okay, this is done. The high of the cycle is right here. It's much lower than the high of that cycle. The low is obviously way down here, way below the low of that cycle that happened right there. I just think this thing is in big trouble. yes, I do think there'll be a bounce here. I don't think it's going to be very well sustained. And maybe it gets up to 72.5. Heck, maybe even gets to 75. I mean, that would be kind of optimistic, but it could. And then I think it'll fail. It's going to have to prove itself, man, because it is just looking really bad here. Take a quick peek at the weekly here. Okay. And let's see, are these cycles any good? Who put these cycles in here? Who put these garbage cycles in here? Oh my gosh, fire that guy. Seriously. Cycles are garbage. That's better. That's a little bit more better. We're gonna go with a really big cycle here. That's probably a little bit better. I don't know. There's a small cycles in here too, I guess. Some small stuff going on. Yeah, maybe something like that is valid. Yeah. That's kind of okay, I guess. Give me a moment to look at this. Give me a moment. Not convinced. Let me look. That looks good. That looks good. That's okay. Yeah, that's good too. Not good. Very good here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 out of 6. We like that. That's pretty good. Cyclicality. Let's look at the big. Let's change this one to yellow. See if it's any good. So far, the green cycle looks pretty solid to me. Let's look at the yellow cycle. Yes. Kind of okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And this is running a little late. So it's not quite as consistent as the green cycle, but it's within the realm of reasonable. It's in the realm of reasonable. We'll keep them both on there for now. So December 1st. December 1st is what I got going on there. Let me see if I can get the right drawing tool going on here. Deck 1. That's that bad boy. Okay. Deck 1. We're doing a little side detour here to get this right, yeah? So in the future, we don't have to mess around with it too much. That's that one. This is April 14th. Let's duplicate that. Bring it over here. Something like that. APR 14. These are weeks, of course, so not exact days, but we'll just go with weeks. All right, there you go. Negative momentum here on the weekly chart. Okay, it's down here. So you could see a bounce here, but just keep in mind, this the weekly chart shows negative momentum. Yes, we could get a bounce in here coming up, but negative momentum on the weekly. Let's go back to the daily here. Huge negative momentum on the daily. So bounces, they may not do well. Yes, bounces could be coming, but I don't think they're going to be strong. Or they may be strong, but they won't last long. It's kind of like that, right? They're going to bounce and then give it up. Something like that. That's like the best case scenario. So crude oil is looking devastated, and I think it's going to get down into the mid to low 60s. It's already got down to 65. I don't think this is done. It's going to do the bouncy bounce down again, probably into the mid to low 60s. Of course, I said that a week or two ago that I thought that's exactly what happened, and it had. It got down to 65. I don't think it's finished quite yet. Let's take a look at, let's see, what else we want to look at here. Let's look at corn. Let's look at corn. Daily chart. Very strong, but then starting to pull back. Up, bing, starting to pull back. Still a negative momentum here. Still negative momentum. That's a big deal. So corn got a nice little bounce out of this cycle low. Looks like to me it just can't get it going. It's going to run out of gas, which it already did up here. And I think it's just going to stay in negative momentum, start to curl over probably. Okay, October 10th is your cycle low. When it gets down here. Do I think what do I think right now? I would say this is a short, a small short, one position-y kind of thing. Keep it super small, short side. This looks like it's trying to fail down into the middle of this cycle. That would be about the third week of September, right around the 20th, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. So I think there's a little bit of room to go here, a few days at least, to the short side. That's my take on corn. It just looks like it's going to continue to fail here. Look at these lines. Look at this. Bang, 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 boom, bang. Yeah, something like this, right? Not good. I don't think I have a weekly on this. I don't want to get too distracted on weeklies, but we'll take a quick peek. Yeah, look at that. Look, it's trying to do the bounce. And just like crude oil, and crude oil is not as bad, but look at this corn, negative momentum. Negative momentum on the corn for like a long time, all the way back since, oh my gosh, since like July of 2022. Corn has been negative momentum since July of 2022. Let's see, what is this? What month is this? Sorry, August. August 5th, the week of August 15th, 2022. It has been negative momentum for like more than 2 years. More than 2 years, corn has been negative momentum. So what do I think about corn? It's still going to go down. It's going to have to prove it can get out of this catastrophic decline. All right. Back to the daily here on corn. Yep, I think a short side trade here, really small position, just down to the second or third week of September is probably going to be okay. That's my best stab at that one. Let's look at the XLP here. The Spider Consumer Funds staple. Finally, the consumer staples gives it up. Finally, after this monster, and it's finally giving it up, starting to roll over. Kind of a gap down there. Consumer staples. Finally, it's done. Of course, the cycle low is tomorrow. Okay. Kind of funny. I mean, this is going to have to work real hard for a long time to go negative momentum, okay? It's going to have to work super hard to get all the way down here into negative momentum. So what do I think? I think when it's done doing this pullback, however deep it is, when it bounces out of there, it's a long. That's probably what's going to happen. All right. I don't know if you all watched the debate last night. Pretty pathetic. ABC basically ganged up on Donald Trump. All two moderators were fact-checking Donald Trump every second they had. They didn't fact-check Camel Toe Harris. How many times did they fact-check Donald Trump? A lot. How many times did they fact-check Camel Toe Harris? Anybody want to come up with a number? I'll give you a hint. It's less than one. That's right. If we're talking about integers, that would be 0. They fact-checked Camel Toe Harris 0 times. Did she lie? Yeah, of course she lied. She's a professional liar. We're Democrats and rhinos. They all lie. But Camel Toe's an expert liar. She lied all over the place in that debate. I don't think Donald Trump did horrible. He did okay. He held his own. Do I think anybody got persuaded to vote for Camel Toe because of the debate? No, I don't. Do I think people that were going to vote for Camel Toe are going to go vote for Donald Trump? Probably not. I think whatever people had made up their minds, I don't think they switched. Now, the people riding on the fence, maybe they got influenced. But I don't think there was any big seismic changes and people switching their votes based on that debate. I mean, everybody in the world could see the moderators were ganging up on Trump. If the left wants to call that a victory, let them have their stupid little 5-minute glory. You know, who cares? She still didn't clarify any of her policy points. Of course, they talked about the feel-good stuff, just like I thought they would. Abortion, no. You know. What could she say about the border and the crimes? You know, she can't say anything. Dismal. Abysmal track record for Camel Toe. I certainly ain't going to change my vote for that wretched soul. Yeah, not convinced. Like Donald Trump said, she's been in the office for 3.5 years. You could have already fixed it. Why do you need to become president to fix it? You're the de facto president right now. Close the border right now. All the things that she said she's going to do, she could already do them. But nope, she won't do them. See, there you go, folks. That's what liars do. Talk about what they're going to do, knowing they're never going to do it. XLP, that's my take on that. I think it's going to pull back here. If it stays positive coming out of this thing, and the SMI gets down in there somewhere, yeah, I'd go long once it's done coming down. Look, it might do this, right? It might come down like this, and that's all it does. It starts going up again. It might not even get to the bottom. With this much momentum, it's going to be very interesting to watch this ETF. All right, what else? I didn't cover silver. Let's look at silver. Okay, silver technically has gone negative momentum as of today. As of today. So even though it had a few up green days here, momentum's been heading the other way. So it's just barely negative momentum. Okay, not much to talk about. Flat line, right on the zero line. Yeah, you know, really small day there. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, 9/11 had a decent day. 82-cent range. Most of it was, you know, for the most part, it was an up day. Decent day for silver. I'll let it finish. It does whatever it's going to do here. Gosh, it's just so neutral. I guess you just take it at face value. I don't like it better in gold. Gold is just so much more tradable. But like I said before, the daily cycles on silver are really magnificent. They really are. So I expect some kind of decline coming up here down into September 24th time frame. Okay, it's gonna do a little up here, and as it begins to pull back, hey, maybe you shorted into that. Right now, it still looks very positive. It's up and it's trying to make its way up. When it does a little curly Q, you have to watch this momentum. This thing is really not the best tradable product. I don't particularly like it. That's my take on it. All right, let's look at the S&P 500. Let's do it. Daily chart. Big, huge up day. On fire. Massive up day. It's finally got some momentum underneath it. I mean, some SMI is taking off. And here on the S&P 500, momentum has stayed positive. So guess what, folks? That's very positive. It's a fairly positive occurrence for the S&P 500. After this big old, pullback here, it stayed in positive territory momentum. It's doing the old bouncy bounce. Yeah, it's positive. There's just no getting around it. The S&P 500 still looks positive to me. Okay. We'll have to wait to see what it does when it gets up here. Does it get run out of gas? Pull back into September 30th? It might. It might just do that. Because we do have a crossover here, so we have to pay attention to this. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly chart. Now's a good time to look at the weekly. That might give us a little heads up on what is going on. Yeah, looks, it's very positive momentum here, but, a little bit of a gap, trying to do this. SMI's trying to do that. Okay. It hasn't gone back up to this level at 56, 69, 75. It hasn't gotten back up there. Of course, we still got Thursday and Friday in this week. So the daily's kind of bullish. The weekly is definitely bullish on momentum with some bearish kind of very short-term bearish kind of look to it, right? Looks like it wants to pull back. But at the moment, I got to say, the market still looks pretty strong here. Okay, as long as this momentum stays positive, you got to go with what it says. When it got down into here, boy, that was pretty sketchy. Okay, and the rebound has not recovered to all-time highs. See that? So, fail maybe? Get up here, fail, right? That's my guess. If I had to just guess what this is going to do, give my best estimate. Yes, it'll bounce, and then it's going to fail, and it won't take out the all-time high. It's probably what it's going to do. Okay. Let's look at the trade of the day, finish up the video. Where was the trade of the day? Let's put on the GITIS Plus indicator. I can already see where it was, but we'll turn on the GITIS Plus indicator because it always seems to absolutely rock. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at this indicator right here. Happened at 9 o'clock in the morning. Of course, there was a big pullback going on. About a half an hour later, it bottoms, starts to rotate up, boom, takes off. Here's your trade of the day right there. Just took a little bit of patience, let it mature, and bam, off to the races. Beautiful. Look at that. My goodness. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Anything decent here? There was a decent signal there to the short side. Yeah, that wasn't a bad signal right there. Boom. Gets down here, goes negative momentum, stays there for like an hour, 2 hours. It's a nice trade right there. Nothing wrong with that. You get up over here on the 5-minute chart, you get positive momentum going on. It says, hey, you know, guess what, guys and gals? I think I like what I'm seeing. Gives a signal, stays up here all day, and just go long. So even on the 5-minute chart, you had a signal that tells you, jump in. Take a short, take a long. S for short, L for long. Seriously. Isn't that amazing? Amazing. Lots of big bucks right there, man. That's just a beautiful thing. Okay, you want to become a member? The link is in the description of the Discord server. Make sure you read the instructions. Join, $7.99 a month. There's nightly emails that go out every night, Monday through Thursday. There's streaming charts of the S&P 500 and gold that you get 5 days a week. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually I'm doing live Twitch stream in the morning talking about hourly and 2-hour charts and what I think is going to happen for the day. There's a lot. There's alerts as well that are happening throughout the entire day on the Discord server. Alerts for the S&P 500 and for gold going on, and crude oil. Okay, and stocks for that matter, going on all day long. There's channels on that Discord server for alerts. So when you join, you get the alerts as well. Okay, that's it. Happy trading, everybody. God bless everybody. Talk to you all real soon again next time.